Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host Tone Vase. This will have to be another quick one. I'm here in Brisbane. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning. I do have to go teach my workshop for today, so you will not see me online today. It's what I pretty much do almost every Saturday. All right, let's go straight to screen share. Again, shout out Brisbane. I'll be back here next year. What am I doing here? All right, screen share. I'm going to try to beat yesterday's time on the video, but I am being joined by Nick, so we'll see how we do. Once again, tonevase.com. If you want to learn trading, go to education, learn trading. That will go a long way towards your education in trading. Let me situate the live chat here. Hold on a second, guys. Take that here, take that over to there, and hide the chat. I'll put the slow mode back on the chat. I made it 60 seconds. Hopefully that would cut back on some of the nonsense in the troll box. All right. Man, I keep forgetting to tweet this out. I hope they still have a Black Friday sale. I hope it's still Friday. I'll probably tweet it out before I go to the workshop. If you wanted to get TradingView, please use the affiliate code and sign up for a 60% discount. And, you know, there are some other affiliate codes as well. I don't profit from these, they just save you money on stuff. Only this one and this one pretty much have a feedback for me. Maybe that one a little bit, but yeah, Bitcoin Live, I think is pretty cool. Anyway, all right, let me stop. The workshop schedule, Brisbane is sold out, guys. Amazing. Oakland's next, Aruba, Tampa, Phoenix, and then the big one in Las Vegas for the conference. Speaking of the conference, let's see how the ticket sales are going. 14 seats left for the poker tournament. We'll probably open it up to a few more. But once this thing sells sold out, I'm going to harass the celebrities, get them to pay up to 0.1. If they don't, I'll open it up to more people. The speakers, people are slowly buying up tickets. The last 10 go real quick because after that, the price goes up. Okay, keep that in mind. Some VIP tickets left too. All right. That's it pretty much. Please check that out. Charts. So this is the index. The index is back of last night's close to 4285. We are back at the support cluster. I named this video "What's Different This Time?" So we will. I'll get to that in smaller time frames. Let's go straight to the weekly chart. My weekly chart is a little bit lower. We are back a lot closer to the setup trend line. Now the week is about to come to an end. This is on New York time. Today's already Friday. I mean, I did no Black Friday shopping. I've just been too busy, so disappointing. I really wanted to buy some cheap stuff, but oh well, not gonna happen because I'm teaching my workshop all day.
Yeah, fights breaking out at JCPenney today. That's how bad it was.
Really?
Oh my gosh. I didn't even know JCPenney was still around.
I don't understand why people still go out to buy stuff. Like, just buy it online. It's even cheaper.
Right? I know. Yeah, I mean, full-on brawls. I'm talking like 20 people brawling at JCPenney's.
You know what? I think at this point, it's more about getting on TV. So whoever has the biggest fight, and maybe you'll get a cameo on the news. Like it can't be about, you know, the sales anymore. Like, the economy is not doing that bad in the US. All right. So yeah, that's insane. Oh, by the way, welcome, Nick.
Hey.
So we're still holding this support cluster of 4,200. Bitstamp is currently at 42.29, a little lower than I expected it by this time, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Here's the daily chart. It's still Bitfinex. I haven't even had time to think about transitioning it to Bitstamp. Wow, I guess
you better do it quick because Spoofy showed its presence today with a huge buy wall and then disappeared.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bitfinex is just, I mean, like, man, it's hey, what's your relationship with Whale Pool? Because I mean, they have me blocked. I think Whale Pool is I mean, not all of them, but as a collusive unit, I'm not, I mean, I thought I liked them in the beginning, but like when they started defending Bitfinex, it's a problem. And I think when Bitfinex goes down, I think Whale Pool deserves to get, like, you know, like a bad reputation. Like no one should. I don't think anyone should be listening to them personally. I think there's, I mean, they're borderline scammy with their Bitfinex defense. Like I'm neutral on Bitfinex. It's another exchange. But the way they were defending it, it's like they were paying them in their shares in order to like tell people that Bitfinex is not, you know, shady.
In order to avoid drama, I have some thoughts on that. I'll share with you off air, and then maybe we can get into it in another show. But yeah, I do have some thoughts on that.
Yeah, so I mean, they have me blocked, and
There's
that's
some
fine.
messages on that.
I have zero interest in ever going on their Mumble again. I've been on there like twice, and both times they were, you know, like secretly recording and secretly had people listening in the background that didn't know were there. That then, you know, like they ask you a question about something and you answer, and then that person is actually there. And I'm like, you know what? At least tell me. Like, I don't mind talking shit about someone if to their face, but I want to know that they're in my face, you know? So I just don't like their practices anyway. Let me not, well, like, I don't, not a fan of most.
They're irrelevant in my eyes, honestly.
They're what?
Irrelevant in my eyes, honestly.
That's true,
Yeah,
too.
might be a decent community to go talk on and stuff like that, but there's other communities out there. You go to my Bitcoin Masons chat, and we have chats all the time with, we have 6,000 members in there.
So look, this is, it's still Bitfinex, but whatever. Look, we did have a lower close, and now we're working on a doji. That is a 9. That is a reversal candle after a 9. I continue, yes, I know that could be considered a pennant, and I called it such, and we did break down from that pennant. Here is the 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart looks really, really bad. It looks like an inverse cup and handle. Normally, when I see these patterns, to me, they are monster continuation patterns to the downside with a big drop.
It's looking more and more like a pennant now. The other day we were looking at it, and it didn't quite so much look like a pennant. But if you flip back over that 12-hour, now it's definitely looking like a continuation pattern. But I don't know yet.
Right. No, the 1-hour chart also looks incredibly bearish right here, right? We had a 9, we had a bit of a bounce, you had a reversal candle, actually pierced the line, my mental line of a stop loss. And now you're working on it. You did a full-blown back test to the level of the breakdown from the triangle. You then went down, you made a 9. Look, all the charts point down. I understand that. I'm a chartist. And it's not that I'm emotional because I have a bullish trade. My bullish trade does have a mental stop loss, because if we break down this 4,100 zone, I will certainly be out and I will be looking for 3,000. The reality of the situation is, as an experienced trader, what I see on Twitter, how everyone is now bearish, the fact that we have just fallen so much, I just can't see another big leg down. I can't. Can it happen?
One thing I'm looking at is, I mean, we are so oversold on, you know, various indicators and things like that. This is oversold conditions, and textbook is you long oversold conditions.
Right. Like, I wouldn't even, I mean, this is, would you consider this short-term fundamentals, very short-term?
Say that again?
Would you consider this very short-term fundamentals?
Yeah. What do you mean, short-term fundamentals?
Okay, look, guys, this is really simple. All of you thought that Bitcoin was worth $6,000. It's 2 weeks later. Nothing has changed. Bitcoin is $4,000. And now all of a sudden, all of you hate it. This makes me like it, right? Like, nothing fundamentally has changed with Bitcoin other than it's 33% lower than it was 2 weeks ago. That is just too much.
I do think that retail traders are acting unreasonable right now on this sell-off, and like really focused on, I don't know, almost like a depression has hit the market suddenly, and you got to take the emotion out right now.
Right. And I just think there's nobody left to sell. I just look, I understand that the charts are telling you it's going lower. I just don't think there's anybody left to sell to make it go lower. And when that happens, it's consolidating. I don't mind it's consolidating. Normally, consolidation leads to, consolidation at the lows normally leads to further drops. but not after a double drop. Look, we had a big drop. Then we had consolidation. I was all for another big drop, but you don't get another big drop after another set of consolidation. That's just, it can happen. The technicals are saying it should happen, but the reality of the situation is fundamentally, I don't see like, it's not even fundamentally, right? To me, fundamentals is Bitcoin technology, is core development. That's real fundamentals. Like, the reality of the situation to me is that right now, I don't think there's anybody left to panic sell. I think anyone that was gonna panic sell at these prices has already panic sold. And now, if there's anyone that missed this move and they're smart enough, they would wait for a rebound to somewhere between $5,000 and $6,000, and then they sell, because that's what I would probably do right now.
The only argument I can see, so look, this 4,000 range still is being defended pretty decent. Like every time we've wicked down, I've seen some decent buys pop up, and you know, it doesn't stick down there very long every time we've wicked. But the only other argument that I've been entertaining as far as a short-term drop is, if we're looking at Elliott waves, this fifth wave can bring us down further, but it's also possible that it stops at the 4,000. There's an argument there. But the fact that everything is so oversold right now, the conditions of this market are just, I don't know, it looks like capitulation, but it's not. And you know, I kind of am in agreement with you that there's not a lot of sellers left right now. Again, anything can come in and change, but it's just, it's a very tricky market. And this week's close is one of the most imperative closes I've ever seen for Bitcoin.
Wow, look at this 10-minute, man. I mean, this is classic. Look, I had a 9 candle on a 10-minute. It's really unfortunate that it's an 8 countdown, because that's what's created all of these plus sides. So that's the unfortunate part. And look, you had a 9, you had a beautiful doji reversal candle, and then you had one of these head fake candles. Like, this is the candle that like separates over leveraged traders from patient traders. It starts to crash and then whips all the way up, and then all of these guys get screwed. So this is a classic reversal. You can't really time it other than making your trades. Like, well, I'm sorry guys, if you are using more than 3x leverage in this environment, you're crazy. You are absolutely nuts. I'm actually really enjoying the fact that I'm in the GBTC trade, because I am forced to ignore this short-term noise because the market isn't trading, right? Like, I get into my position, then you have the Thanksgiving holiday, then you have the Friday half day, which I never look at the market on a Friday half day, and now I have the whole weekend. So like, I can't exit my GBTC long until Monday, even if I wanted to. And that allows me to just be patient, stay calm, and ignore the noise. And this is a 10-minute, like, look, I admit this is very difficult to trade, because when you have this 9 and you have this doji right after the 9 and a 10-minute scale, and it starts to go up, you're great. But if it whipsaws you down, you got a problem. The volume was very strong on that candle. And I'm still expecting the 4,000, 4,100 to be defended here. I would even lower my stop loss down to like just above 4,000 or even just below 4,000. Like, I want to be patient here. I mean, I'm blocking obnoxious bears right now on my Twitter account. Who would have thought, right? Like, who would have thought a week ago I'd be blocking like people that are like over bearish?
Right. Yeah. You know what though? Like, I would not be surprised to see a wick below 4,000, but a wick. You know, I still keep going back to that January 12th week, 2015. And, you know, the similarities in the structure of that candle. And, but I mean, every time we've wicked down, we have seen buyers come in, and it is looking decent. Wall Street is also looking at this. You know, Tom Lee's got that, I think it's a kind of ridiculous call, 15,000 by the end of the year. Unless he knows something nobody else knows, we're not going to hit 15,000 by the end of the year. But, you know, I just keep focusing on that week right there.
Yeah, but Nick, either way, right? I mean, you're focusing on this week, looking at this being 4,000. I'm looking at this week, looking at this being 4,000. either way, there was 100% correction, right? Like it doesn't matter if you're right or I'm right. We're looking at the same idea. I'm looking at it from this angle, and Bitcoin was bottomed at 285. And over the next 2 weeks, it went all the way to 470. So from 285 to 470, that is like a 75% correction. That's almost a doubling of the price. Same thing here. It bottoms at like 163 on the index. It was like 155 on a lot of the exchanges. And over the next 3 weeks, went all the way to 300. So it doubled in price. So either way, we're looking at a repeat of one of these, and there was a substantial correction in either one. So you and I don't have to. One of us doesn't have to be right over the other as to which one it resembles. Either way, we're expecting a bounce.
Well, and one thing we can agree on is when you're in oversold conditions or when there's blood in the streets, what do? You buy, and this is exactly what we're seeing here from this last week. And it really reinforces my view when the entire market is sitting here now, all of a sudden calling these lows that you've been calling for a while. I disagree with them until I see otherwise, but when I see the markets cohesively calling for a low, then that's typically when I'm watching, to set a long position.
Yeah, no, look, guys, I agree. The technical picture looks terrible. This 4-hour picture looks like a disaster. Normally, I'm bearish, but because of the environment, because of the psychology of trading, I'm not. So to answer the question I have in the title, is it different this time? I think it's a little different this time. This is one of those situations where you have a high probability trade of catching that falling knife, and you may have to ignore the technicals a little bit. Now, technicals may win out, and this is where you are disciplined and low leverage and proper stop loss and proper trade size will protect you. But this is one of those rare opportunities. Normally, I prefer the continuation pattern to a reversal pattern for safe trades. But in this case, this is one of those rare instances, like the first week of February of this year, where you can try to catch a falling knife. So kind of like this one was, if you were like, it's a little bit different, right? To me, this current week is very similar to the week of February 5th. There's a big difference there. On the week of February 5th, you only had a few hours to catch the low, which is normally how it happens. On the other hand, this one is being dragged out. There's two ways markets bottom: either amazingly quick and no one has the time to react, or unreasonably slow, doubting everyone that there is going to be a reversal. And I think this is one of those slow grinds where everyone doesn't want to touch Bitcoin, and there's just nobody left to sell, and it goes up. Are we going to go up to new all-time highs? Probably not. Can we make it to 6,000-7,000? Unlikely. Can we make it to 5.5, close to 6? Yeah, I think there is a very high probability of that.
Can I show an example of some oversold conditions we're on in the daily right now?
Go for it.
Okay. All right, so I typically use the guppy for my day trades. To be clear right now, I am not trying to long this with a large position. I've been taking scalp plays on oversold conditions on smaller time frames. I tweeted out.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm not familiar with the guppy. Can you explain?
Yeah, I'm going to get into that real quick. Just clarifying on my positions before anybody's like, oh, I'm longing the bottom here. No, I am waiting for the weekly to close before I make an assessment. I'm just taking little scalp longs, and they've been working out perfectly, to be honest. So what the guppy is a series of EMAs. Let me show you real quick. There's the various inputs on there. I've changed mine on a gradient scale. It's good for finding oversold conditions. And as you can see here, we are below the fastest moving EMA, which is currently set at 3. The next one's 5 and 8. We are so far off of that EMA. This is textbook oversold as far as the GMMA, or otherwise known as the guppy, goes. If we go back to some of the times we've been in oversold conditions, like clear down here, we have always come back to touch those faster moving EMAs. Very rarely have we dropped below this EMA on the daily, and every single time we have ended up coming back. So it is reasonable to expect. Here's the weekly right here. Let's turn off the candles real quick, and you can see, oops. You can see where we are in the weekly. The EMA on the weekly there is caught up, but if we go down to like the three day is there also. So the daily is showing oversold conditions right here. But if this candle ends up closing right here in this formation, then yeah, it just further reinforces my belief that we're in oversold conditions, especially if we get a close on the weekly that slightly rebounds up here. Let's take a look at this weekly candle real quick. This is such a large candle. Looks catastrophic, right? But when there's blood in the streets and when we're in this oversold, as we've been repeating, I buy. And I typically look for this type of condition to long. But yeah, so the Guppy's a series of EMAs. Bitcoin, especially on the daily here, every time we've gotten below that fastest moving EMA, as you can see here, we've ended up rebounding every single time. Do you think it's just based off of this, guys, looking at it? Do you think it's reasonable that we end up dropping further on this daily? So here's your 38 range that everybody's looking for. How far off the EMA would we be there? I mean, we'd be several $100s off of this fastest moving EMA. So, I mean, this is just one way to measure oversold conditions. You can also do it with candlesticks, or I mean, with the traditional time-based volume, which I'm not a fan of. But Stotch is pretty much bottomed. MACD, you know, it's in a horrible position here, but again, just reinforces that oversold. The only thing I'm really concerned about is this volume. We need some buy volume to come in. For once, I'm looking for Spoofy to come in, and I kind of have a feeling it will. You know, we may see some ridiculous buys come in and, you know, a rebound up into this range right here. That's my thoughts on that. I think you're muted, Tone. I can't hear you.
Yeah, my bad on that. I was gonna say, how familiar are you with the ADX? I'm actually curious if the momentum of the bear move is coming to an end with the ADX. If you want to.
Yeah, I use ADX. Actually, I'm gonna put on two indicators here. One is the momentum, and let me get rid of some of these so it looks cleaner. One is the momentum, and one is the ADX. Actually, if we do that, so here, let me change this ADX to pink. Doesn't look great, but again,
little divergence though at the very end.
Yeah. So actually, so here on the daily, if we take a look, price is lower than this prior candle here, and the ADX is trending up. Momentum indicator not looking too great, but let's drop it down to like the 4 hour and take a look.
Oh yeah, look at that. Actually, I like it.
We are divergent here. It is looking, that is a bullish divergence there, and the momentum indicator is definitely divergent. We're eking back to the zero line, the median line on the, here, let me mark it for those of you guys that can't see. Well, close to that. Zero somewhere around there, right there. Yeah, it's, I mean, that is divergent. I bet if we let me throw this OBV back on. So the OBV is on balance volume. It doesn't really match up, but again, the OBV is not the best indicator there. We are pretty flat. But here's the good sign is it's holding along this line and not continuing to drop. So it is colluding there. But yeah, ADX and momentum indicator are showing us bullish divergence on the 4 hour and a slight one on the daily also. Momentum indicator is pretty far down here on the daily, but let's check this weekly. Let me remove this.
Yeah, the low volume, the low volume not stepping up isn't really bothering me right now. Like I said, I don't think there's anybody left to panic sell at this price. I think they need a significant more time to reevaluate what is Bitcoin before they panic sell again. And if volume does come in, the volume is going to come into the upside. I think this time around, I'm expecting volume to shoot up. I am expecting a bounce here. I'm not, remember guys, I'm still intermediate term bearish, but I just think we are grossly oversold. You don't drop 33% in 2 weeks with absolutely nothing changing fundamentally for Bitcoin, and not have some kind of a rebound.
Look, so the big bag holders with BTC, the institutions and whatnot, like, you know, the conspiracy theory that they're selling off right now and slamming this down. You think they're really selling this low right now, guys? They would have sold quite a while ago. They're not sitting on massive amounts of BTC to pump up this price. Also, the OBV is slightly divergent still on the weekly. If we go back to the low of March 26, 2018, we are significantly lower than that price action, and the OBV is still holding that current level. So the volume is still there. It is trending down. Let's see what happens on the weekly close. But generally, there is some divergences there. And I just, like Tone said, I don't believe there's a lot of sellers left, because the guys that are holding big BTC, they're not idiots. They're not going to be selling this low right here. They would have sold a while ago. And, you know, they see the same things as far as this 4,000 range being defended.
Yeah, and on our final note, if you are an institutional investor in Bitcoin and you know what you're doing, you know how thin Bitcoin is, and you know how, and you can see how thin it is right now. It would be so easy for you to drive it back to 6,000 so you can exit at a better position. Like at this point, you're better off adding 10 to 15% of your large Bitcoin position, drive the price back to 6, and then sell your entire position, driving it from 6 down to 3 or 2. Like, it just doesn't make any sense for a professional institutional guy to sell his Bitcoin here.
Right. And also, guys, quit with the Craig Wright and Roger Ver comments. They are not that powerful. I don't care if we wick down into the 3,000 range. I still am not blaming them. It's still a healthy market, and that's how markets work. Dropping down into the 3,000 range would not be that big of a surprise. I do expect it to be defended, and I find it unlikely it will happen. Tone has a different view on that. That's fine. But I don't believe this crap that it's Craig Wright and Roger Ver.
No, I mean, like, did they affect the market? Sure they did, but indirectly, not directly. So basically, they just showed what a clown show a lot of the libertarians are in this general space, because a lot of people still have a problem differentiating what is Bitcoin. So did they affect the market a little bit by scaring off some people and a lot of merchants? And yeah, of course they did. Like, are we a bit of a laughing stock in the eyes of the educated people? Yeah, probably. But did they affect the market directly by moving the price of Bitcoin? No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I just don't buy it. If they had that much BTC to dump, they would have done it a long time ago. They wouldn't have done it around here. And I know Bitmain exited out of their positions around 14,000, excuse me, is when they started to sell off the massive amounts of Bitcoin they had. So I really don't believe that they have as much firepower as everybody believes.
All right, man, I have to get going. I have to go teach my workshop. We are closing out with 2,500 live viewers. Thank you guys so much for joining. Once again, please check out the Unconfiscatable poker tournament and one-day conference. Nick's going to be playing. I'm going to be playing. A few more people that I know and respect in the space are signing up now. Got 14 seats left for the poker game. I still have 30 seats left at the current price for the conference itself. There are separate registrations. This is your registration form for the conference. You click on the poker strip and you have a registration for poker. The carnivory dinner registration will be coming soon. And there you go. Actually, I don't really want people paying in USD for the poker because it's all denominated in Bitcoin. I gotta see what that is, but yeah, it's Bitcoin only, guys, for the poker game. I don't even know why we added. I don't know. Maybe we'll remove the fiat payment. Try not to pay in fiat, guys. We're trying to make this a Bitcoin thing. We only added it for like some people that want to come and they don't even have Bitcoin, but they want to learn. So we do have to, let's not discriminate against those that want to learn Bitcoin. So that's it for me. Thank you so much, guys. Again, if you're doing any of your Black Friday shopping, please click on the affiliates, check out the Amazon links. I need to upgrade my technology. I haven't had time. If this doesn't come up, you may have to drop your ad blocker and refresh the page. There's no ads on my site, so don't worry about that. All right, guys. On this note, I'm going to call it a day. I got to run so I can teach the workshop. Let me stop the screen share. Nick, thanks again for joining, man. And
Thanks.
we'll see you guys soon.